Hey guys, what's going on? Garynex here, bringing you another video on 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. The patch note is out and we are getting a double Zeldris banner tomorrow. Both blue and red Zeldris will be available for summons after the update tomorrow. Many people are really hyped for these two units, and seeing that most players are drawn to Genshin Impact since the game released last week, Netmarble might be using this hype unit to try and pull back some players into the game. But considering that a lot of players are burnt out due to the rapid releases of new units, I'm not exactly sure if this strategy will actually work, but that's for Netmarble to worry about. We as players will worry about whether or not to summon or skip. So let's take a look at both the Zeldris. First, let's take a look at blue Zeldris. His first skill inflicts spike damage equals to 160% of attack on one enemy on rank 1. On rank 2 it goes up to 240%, and on rank 3 is 400%. And spike damage is the one that doubles your crit damage. His second skill inflicts despair damage equals to 100% of attack on all enemies on rank 1. On rank 2 is 150%, and on rank 3 is 250%. And despair actually recovers 15% of diminished HP upon a successful critical strike. His ultimate inflicts spike damage equals to 560% of attack on one enemy, that is 1/6. When you get him up to 6/6, the damage goes up to 840%. His passive increases critical damage by 30% when the hero's ultimate move gauge is depleted by 1, and this limits to 3 times. And his commandment removes debuffs from allies and enemies that moved skills and depletes the ultimate move gauge by 1. Blue Zeldris has really good damage potential because his first skill and ultimate both have spike, which doubles your crit damage. His passive also increases the crit damage, and his second skill allows you to recover 15% of diminished HP if you land a critical hit. So for Zeldris, the most important stats will be his crit rate. At his base, he has a 60% crit rate, and if you max him up to level 80 and 6-star awakened, his crit rate goes up to 64%. That's not extremely high or anything, so that's why for the gear I would recommend going for crit rate, crit damage set. Crit rate is a 4-piece set that increases your crit rate by 30%. This is not a set that we use often, but it's exactly what blue Zeldris need, at least on paper. So that brings his crit rate up to 94%. With some cosmetics, he should be able to reach 100% crit rate. Of course, whether he crits or not will still depend on the enemy's crit resistance. Then using a 2-piece crit damage, that will boost his crit damage even further. If you don't want to build an entirely new set of gears just for blue Zeldris, you can go with the standard attack defense set as well. Next, let's take a look at red Zeldris. His first skill inflicts damage equals to 120% of attack on one enemy and depletes one ultimate move gauge, that is on rank 1. On rank 2 is 300% of attack and depletes 1 move gauge, and on rank 3 is 450% of attack and depletes 3 move gauge. This is the exact same skill as Green Merlin. His second skill inflicts damage equals to 220% of attack on one enemy and disables recovery skills for 1 turn, that's on rank 1. On rank 2 is also 220% of attack and disabled recovery skills for 2 turns, and on rank 3 is 360% of attack and disabled recovery skills for 2 turns. His ultimate is the same as blue Zeldris, inflicts spike damage equals to 560% of attack on one enemy, that is 1/6, and when you get him up to 6/6, that multiply goes up to 840%. His passive increases the basic stats of all allies by 6% for every ally and enemy in battle possessing a commandment. And his commandment is also the same as blue Zeldris. Red Zeldris is a perfect counter to Alt Rush team because his first skill has a drain. His commandment also prevents the enemies from moving cards to get alt gauge. His passive boosts your entire team's basic stats by 6% for every commandment. So you can really put him into most teams, but having a full commandment team will make use of his commandment better. Gear wise, I will personally go with HP defense and use him as a support character instead of DPS. With him on the field as long as possible, your entire team will get basic stats boost, and the enemy will not be able to get their alt gauge easily. So should you summon or skip blue and red Zeldris? I would say yes, you should summon if you are a whale or collector, and yes, you should summon if you really love Zeldris. Apart from these two reasons, I think it's a skip for this banner, especially if you're a free-to-play player. Blue Zeldris is a DPS unit, but not much utility other than the commandment, which makes it difficult for yourself to get ult as well. And red Zeldris is a coin shop unit, so you can pick him up later on in the coin shop. So that's my take on both blue and red Zeldris. I hope this video gives you some insights into these two units so you can make a smart decision yourself. If you wish to discuss further about the two Zeldris or the game in general, consider joining my Discord, link will be in the description below. And as always, like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. That's it for today, take care and have a great day ahead.